Okay, 1546, good luck. So we've not played before, we have no head-to-head score there. 1800 games for our opponent. What have we done? 770, so just approaching 800. Okay, play c4, the traditional reti. e3 is a bit more fashionable these days, especially at the top levels. What do I want to do? I'll play an early g3 and stick to the reti principle, put the bishop on g2. With this move, you need to try and make sure you're actually guarding your pawn, otherwise it can be simply a free pawn. And then you're trying to watch out for the queen or the bishop jumping onto the diagonal at some point in time. Obviously, right now our knight does cover this square, so we're still in time to develop our bishop, but one's playing very quickly here, so they seem to know what they're doing. Okay, knight comes up. d4 is the right principled move, but we've got bishop up as well, and we can trade the bishop off. Do we want to do that? Let's stick to d4. It's the right principle to challenge the center. It switches more to a d4 game. It's very flexible opening the reti. And we still reserved e3. We can't really stop the pawn pushes coming at some point. It's just a case of how do we deal with them. So we've got a few squares tonight. We've got bishop to a3 to try and maybe trade the bishop off. Okay, pushes forward. So I think I should probably just develop my pawn here. And now we're going to have to try and watch out for the bishop coming to annoy the rook at some point, or the pawn. Okay, comes across, so we're going to consider whether to push, but I don't think we should. I think I should get my knight into play. If I come here, though, it's still a very natural, probably a better square, actually, isn't it? Let's go to c3. We can always jump forward and hit the bishop. Okay, we can still take back here, so I'm going to keep the pawns connected if I can. If he pushes, we've got the option to potentially push, but obviously these pawns could both easily be lost and they could end up losing the game for us. It could easily happen. Here comes forward to attack the bishop. Hits the pawn as well. So we can go forward, but we actually lose a bishop, gain a bishop, lose a knight, so that's no good. So rook across and queen up are my two instinctive moves. Rook across, it feels very natural, doesn't it? He could try and attack this pawn. I guess we could just push on anywhere, but I quite like queen up. I'm happy with playing endgames myself. So I'm going to play queen up, offer the queen trade. It'll bring our pawn in towards the center if he takes. Most players might play the rook across there rather than the queen, but I'm quite happy to play and jump into an endgame. Just checking our opponent's internet connection there. They've got a good connection. I didn't see where they're actually from. It doesn't say. It normally shows where you're from. It doesn't show the... You see like a little flag here. Okay, it doesn't actually show anything. Okay, so again, bishop up is still a move to charge the bishop, but I think rook's kind of in the center make good principled sense here. I'm going to start with this one just because there's potential for him to try and challenge the e4 square. Now I like the idea. Oh, I'm going to say the other rook across. He's just actually blundered this same issue with the pawn to hit two pieces. Now, is there any tactical reason not to? Knight across, I can just take or take the bishop. So I think he's just blundered not paying attention there. Okay, so we get a pawn to attack two pieces, but knight across, I mean, we could maybe take the knight or the bishop. The bishop does guard the knight here. So he's sacked for a pawn, so we'll take back. That's good common sense. At least he gets a pawn for the piece. Got to move his knight back now. I'm looking if pawn up is a move here to break this pawn structure up. So give away a pawn and then a move like knight forward and we really attack everything. If he trades, I'm happy. But knight forward might be just as good on its own, actually. Yeah, I like knight forward just on its own, and we can just trade and we can think about pushing a pawn another move. I'll take with the rook if he takes. The knight can go and attack the rook either way, and we can just simply drop back. Well, see, now that we've gained an exchange, it should be, sorry, a piece for a pawn. It should be a case of just paying attention, avoid sloppy blunders, but they do happen, just like mouse slips happen. I'm just clicking my little heater off there. So he's gone across to guard. I don't like the idea of doing this now and unleashing the rook. So I think I'm just going to take the knight there and then develop the other one. Just kind of got to pay a bit of attention here. I like knight across, just offering the knight trade, and then bishop up I can just simply drop back. I mean, pawn up is a move as well to try and fix these. If he pushes, what do we do? Yeah, actually, let's play pawn up first. Knight in I'll just simply take. Bishop in I think I should probably just simply take as well, but it does open pressure on the pawn. So how do I want to do this? I think I'll let my opponent do the capturing. I'm just going to bring the rook across. Again, knight is covered both ways. Knight across now, though, might give him a nice square. We both then get a nice square for the knight. We've just got to be a little bit patient here. I think b5 looks like a nice move. d5 looks like a nice move, or did do. Not quite so much now. So I'm maybe looking at b5 then. b5 gives him a chance to push, but we can then isolate the pawn. That just looks like a very nice natural move to me. The rook guards the pawn. If the knight moves, the bishop does as well. Oh, he's happy to trade. Well, that's got to be good for us. So we've got the extra bishop, so if we can get pieces off the board, that has to be good for us. Just common sense. And we can always trade the pawn here and swing a rook across. So, can I push here? No, I don't think I can. I'll just take and try and activate the rook. Just try not to blunder my bishop. He'll probably play a move like rook across. We can jump up, so the bishop could get into a little bit of difficulty, but I think we're fine just to guard and keep everything together. Now, right now, I can actually grab a pawn because he's got a back rank checkmate issue, so he can't take the bishop. So I think that makes good sense. I'm just trying to double check I'm not blundering some obvious move. So he has gone back. So now I want to guard my bishop. C1 is the natural move, but I could go here as well. I don't see any good way that he flies forward. Actually, it makes good sense to me to go here, because then the king can maybe step forward without the rook blockading. So now I've got the chance to play bishop up and we hit two rooks at the same time. That should be really good. If he goes behind, I just simply take it. Okay, that's the rook. He just didn't see it. He just didn't notice the double attack there, that's all. Okay, I guess we just push our pawn now. Okay, so we've got rook behind, or we can push the pawn. I think rook behind is probably cleanest. Okay, now I'll just push the pawn and try and get a queen. Okay, so I'll get our queen. Nothing wrong with him playing on. You know, he might create a stalemate situation. That's what you're trying to do now. But I've got a lot of time, so we should be fine. It doesn't mean we are, but we should be. But it should be checkmate in a few moves now. We'll come in. That allows the queen in and the rook at the back rank. So it's going to be checkmate next move now. Okay, unlucky, not a bad effort. Let's just see what it was in engine language. He just made an early mistake, didn't he, with the pawn hitting the two pieces. So what have we done? We've done 37 moves, so they're the move times for both players. Let's just request an analysis. It's Stockfish 17 doing this now. It was really just a one move mistake. That's all it really came down to, and it was just a difficult game after that. So the figures sometimes can be a little bit misleading in games like that. Let's just see what it is and see if we've blundered in the opening. That's what we want to try and really learn from. Yeah, so we've played not a bad game, have we, in terms of the figures? 95% versus 87 accuracy, CPR 19 and 46. My average is about 31. So again, for a player at this rating level, it's actually, you know, pretty good, pretty good. On another day, if I make a blunder somewhere, turns into a loss, could easily happen. Ah, that's probably not really red, not meant to be red, because there's two of them, but it's only flagging one blunder, so I'll just refresh it. It's still saying one, so the second one's probably gone now. It has. So yeah, we just got that mistake early on. So presumably it's in this position. Just knight across simply. The engine's saying play bishop down. We're a little bit better out the opening. We're 1.3 better, but at our level that's still very, very playable. But of course the knight over just allows the pawn push, and we're going to win a piece for a pawn. And now I've managed to convert it nicely with just simple, basic, common sense chess. We've managed to avoid sloppy blunders and just convert a pretty good win, but well done by my opponent there.